Hi there, my name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. If you're one of my regular viewers, you'll know in my last episode I covered an album called Revamp. In this episode, I'm going to be covering an album called Restoration. And what this is the reimagining the songs of Elton John and Bernie Taupin. This is Nashville style. The other one was kind of, the pop, rock, that kind of dance music and kind of artist stuff like that. This one is country, bluegrass, folk, acoustic kind of instrumental people. Great assortment of musicians ranging from modern to hardcore classic, So let's get into this album because these reviews tend to take a little bit because of the amount of songs plus the artists. The album kicks off with Rocket Man. I love Rocket Man. Who doesn't love Rocket Man? It's a great song, right? I mean, it is. It's a wonderful song. This song is covered by Little Big Town. I should be very clear. Some of these bands I will know. Some of these bands I have no clue, okay? Little Big Town follows under the no clue. Will it be interested in getting to know after this rendition, though? Because, wow. What they do with this song is spectacular. I don't even know how to describe it. It was an experience of the most positive and uplifting nature. Truly. It's a visionary reimagining of the song. Okay, and that moves on to the first thing that passes between the two albums, which is a song, Mona Lisa and Mad Hatters. It appears between both albums. It's the only song that shows up on both of them. And on here, it's Maren Morris that performs it. On the other one, it's The Killers. The Killers version was good. I'm so about it. Maren Morris version, I enjoy better. Not sure why. There's just something about it. Just, once again, there's a certain peace about it, a certain warmth almost to it. It's, like the Elton John version always kind of had that, I want to call it a reluctant joy to the song. The version on the other one the Killers version kind of kept that up. This one, it's more of a warmth to be home. It's not that reluctant joy. It's a joy from living through the experience and then the joy of being home and getting to talk about the experience almost. That's how I want to go with it. Next up is Sacrifice. Don Henley, as in the Eagles' Don Henley, and country modern legend Vince Gill. Thanks to my mom, I actually know quite a bit of country stuff. Yeah, I grew up hearing a lot of it in the car. I'm not necessarily a fan of it, but I've heard enough of it to know what I know. Sacrifice, they do a good version of it. If you like the original song Sacrifice, you should like this rendition as well. It's very faithful, a little bit different. Obviously, they don't get the piano going the same way, kind of stuff going like that, but it's very, very nicely done. Take Me to the Pilot by Brothers Osborne is up next. I should mention there is the odd song on this album that I really didn't know before this album either. I am a Elton John greatest hits fan for the most part. aside from Yellow Brick Road, I have never listened to an Elton John album from beginning to end that is not a greatest hits album. I'm going to be totally honest with that. And as of this moment in time, I do not even currently own a copy of Yellow Brick Road, and I have not had a copy in my hand in like 20 years. I used to borrow my dad's copy all the time, and then I went out and bought a greatest hits album. That was good enough for me for the time being. Then I got divorced, and I don't have any of it anymore, so it doesn't matter. I got to start replacing it also. Eventually I'll be picking up Yellow Brick Road at least, and you'll get a review that way for that one. But that takes me to Take Me to the Pilot, Brothers Osborne, and I don't really know Take Me to the Pilot that well. I believe I've heard it here and there. I knew it, but not well enough to say, oh, yeah, okay. And Brothers Osborne, no clue. But really dig the song on here. It's enjoyable. I get into it. Then we got My Father's Gun, Miranda Lambert. This is when the album gets a little too country for me. Wonderful vocalist. Wonderful rendition of the song. Not my cup of tea. All right, now one of the things with mentioning greatest hits albums is the greatest hits album I had is Elton John did a double disc white greatest hits album, fantastic album, but he did 2 brand new songs for that album. Both those songs actually do appear on here. Okay, so having that greatest hits album was actually really important. I will buy that greatest hits album again. And the first song was I Want Love. And here it's covered by Chris Stapleton. I loved the song when Elton released it because it belonged on the greatest hits album because it sounded like everything on there that those two did. And it had Elton's true voice in there. And that longing and that passion. And anybody can really, truly... we've all been there, that I want love, but it's impossible, It's just right there, it grabs you. It grabs you. And it defines so many people out there. I've got so many friends that, could honestly say, this is a song for them. This is a song that, they listen to and it grabs them. And then someone would say there's no way they're listening to this sissy ass bullshit because they don't want to get in touch with their feelings. I think it's a great song. And anyways, this version is great. It's not Elton's. It's not as good as Elton's, but it is a wonderful, wonderful cover. Ann Womack. Speaking of getting divorced, my ex was a Ann Womack fan. So I actually know Ann Womack pretty decently. And Honky Cat, she does a good cover, man. She really gets into it, and I really dig it. It wasn't surprising when I heard that, when I read originally that she was doing that. I was like, I could totally see that. And dig it too, man. It really is cool. Okay, so going to songs I really don't know that well from Elton. Roy Rogers. Maybe heard it once, twice, ever in my life. Covered by Kacey Musgraves. Never heard of it in my life. I get why a country artist would cover the song. And I'll leave it at that. Next is Please, Rhonda Vincent. I no clue who that is. And Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton. Oh my Lord. Never, ever will an ill word come out of my mouth about that saint. Well, she's not a saint. She'll tell you she's not a saint. But nothing ill will ever come out of my mouth about that woman other than her music's not always my cup of tea. But, one, she can write a brilliant song. Brilliant. Jolene? The White Stripes covered Jolene, man. That song was awesome. Even before the White Stripes covered it, it was awesome. It was so awesome that when Jack White did it, he didn't even change the lyrics on it, man. And, and then you got the Whitney Houston cover, which I'm not getting into because Whitney Houston killed that song for me. And I love the original. Oh my God. Oh my God, the original version. Oh. I'm not even going to say the song's name. Oh. Anyways, that's because I'm getting way off topic. They do Please on here. I did not know Please before this. It's a pretty song. And, Dolly's on it, man. Of course it's going to sound great. Okay. Now, previous album. One artist crosses from that album over to this album. If you have not watched the other review, you don't know yet. The artist that crossed over, it totally made sense right from the get-go. I never would have thought differently, and it was absolutely 100% totally on board with it, because who could say no? Miley Ray Cyrus. And she does The Bitch Is Back. Whoa! Oh! All jokes intended. Miley was the person to sing this song, and Miley does a great version of it, okay, man? And if you want to hear what I honestly think about Miley, go watch the other review. I'm not going to get as in-depth into that because this review is running faster than the other one, and I went on way too long about Miley in the other one. Miley is great. I respect and props for Miley. I know there's people that right now are going to be saying, are you kidding me, blah, 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 blah. I have kids. I have a daughter. My daughter was the right age for Hannah Montana, core audience. Grew up watching Miley grow up. As a parent, as a dad, I would rather hang out with, her dad, so it's not weird and creepy and shit like that. But I respect, as a musician and artist, I respect Miley and what she's done, and nothing ill to say. Moving on. All right, Sad Songs Say So Much by Dierks Bentley. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I do apologize. Maybe it's Dierks. I'm not sure how that's supposed to be. Anyways, I didn't like the original version usually. And there was something in the original one that musically I could totally respect. Even if I didn't like the lyrics, there was something in the music I could totally respect. This does capture part of that, but I still just don't like the song. That's all it is. I mentioned earlier about how the Greatest Hits album that was released had 2 original songs that both appeared on here. So we are now at the second of those. And that is This Train Don't Stop There Anymore. Roseanne Cash and Emmylou Harris. Royalty. Country freaking royalty. Yes, that Emmylou Harris. And yes, the Roseanne Cash. Royalty. Now, I adored the original song. I have karaoke'd the original version. I don't quite sing it, obviously, like Elton John does. I don't have quite that range. But thankfully, it's older Elton John that did it, so the range isn't quite as high as it used to be. I love this song, always have. I think it's a magnificent song. Their interpretation of it makes me feel no less about the song. I think their interpretation of it is brilliant. I think they did a fantastic job of it. And it is exactly on par with that one. It is. It's just absolutely brilliant. Okay, now we're going to finish up the album on the very last track. And the very last track has, to me, the biggest name in country. People would argue, because it's not Johnny Cash. I'm sorry, it's not Johnny Cash. the biggest living name as of this moment in country, Willie Nelson. That's right. Willie Nelson. The Willie Nelson. The man, the myth, the cannabis legend. Sorry, guys. Had to get that joke in there somewhere. Respect Willie Nelson for nothing else is going to be that. Okay, so Willie Nelson does Border Song. I have never ever heard Border Song prior to this album. Not in any shape or form. I am also musically not as much of a Willie Nelson fan as some other country artists. Part of that is just because I am so rock geared in my head. Part of that is because, yeah, it's country music. Old school country music. Border Song, Willie Nelson's rendition is beautiful. I like what he does. I like how he does it. I love how he performs it. There is something to it that is just fantastic. And I love the message of the song the whole way around. Willie's older voice on it is kind of, in its way, extra heartbreaking. There's a little extra rite of passage almost. Like it's been because you can hear his age in his voice. It's like you can hear within the song that we've been doing this for so long. Like this love. Let's have this love between everybody. Let's have this peace. Let's have this unity. Let's have this brothership. That's how the song sounds with Willie doing it, and it is beautiful. It's wonderful. It is not something I listen to regularly though, because it is slow as bloody molasses. I'm gonna say something very Canadian here, man. It runs like maple syrup out of a tree or like maple sap out of a tree in the middle of January. Great album. Great album. I highly recommend, if you like country music and you like Elton John, this is an album worth checking out. My mom might dig this album. I think my mom would probably really dig this album. My mom's the reason I listen to Elton John and I know so much about country. My ex, I'm glad I bought this after the divorce, because I would have lost this album in the divorce and probably would have lost the first one revamped too, but if you watch this one ever, pick it up. It's cool. So, until next time, everybody. Sorry. Until next time, everybody, peace. Love y'all. Take care. Hit the subscribe button. Leave me your comments. If you got some stuff you want to suggest I check out from any of these artists, you can suggest it. I'm going to be honest. Willie, Little Big Town. Leave me suggestions for Little Big Town. I'd like to know that. Willie, don't worry about it. Anyways, until next time, everybody, take care, peace, love, leave comments, subscribe, you know the thing.